Hello everyone and thanks for hanging out with me. I'm here with the Peugeot e-2008. It has a 50 kilowatt hour battery, 45 kilowatt hours can be used. Has a 100 kilowatt, 136 horsepower front wheel drive motor. Can charge with up to 100 kilowatt. AC charging is 11 kilowatt. Even though right now it's charging extremely slow, because I'm at 91%. It started with 10 kilowatt. It's still plugged in with 86%. The trunk is a good size for that car. You have one light here on this side, but it's okay. It's a good size. It's not too high, and there's another compartment that's really nice. We can put all the cables in there, and I don't have that many cables, but you can put it in there. The back seats, yeah, this is my thing here to mount the camera. Sorry. The back seats are okay. We'll measure the space in a second. There are only two lights here in the back, and they're not very bright. So if you like it dark in your car, this is your thing. You have light, but not too much. Little pockets here, and of course you can fold the seats and everything. Passenger side is also good. You have enough space in here. And let's look at the glove box. It's also okay. Driver door. You have your normal controls here for windows. Yeah, what's cute is that you have lane assist, but this is off by default. You have to turn it on yourself, and you have self-steering, works nice. This is your cruise control. A bit weird to have it on this way, and you do the speed here in the back. Here is resume, and here you can turn it on or off, but it works, it's fine. You only have one sensitivity level for your automatic wipers. Yeah, the steering wheel is okay. It works just fine. You have your loudness, and this is your view for the instrument cluster. And here you have go to the next song, and then list and source what you want to play in the list of the radio stations. Of course, your phone. Yeah, the wipers are here. This was the light here. It doesn't have auto high beam. Maybe it's just this version, because there's a GT version as well. That's the instrument cluster, and as you can see, you have to adjust the steering wheel in a way so you can see the instrument cluster. It's not that easy. And you have a few different views. Let's start with minimum. And you have this 3D view. Let's close the door. You have that nice 3D view. Go a bit like this. And this is the minimal, where it doesn't do 3D except when you turn on the trip meter, but the trip meter goes away by itself after a while. Then that's the minimum display. Then you have personal one, which can set what it will show. There's always animation in between. Here I set it to trip, and then personal 2 I think is the heat usage, and it just says how much power it's using for the heat, and you can see that thing going up and down. And then energy display will show the car. If there's stuff going into the battery, you're taking stuff out. What was dials? It's just a different view. Just looks different. The speed will go with a blue line up. There was a bit distracting, so I turned that off. Driving is more for the assist systems. Navigation, we'll put the navigation in the middle, and it works really nice and looks good. No problem with that. I like that, but I'm the minimum guy, but today I need the personal stuff because I'm doing a range test soon. And then when you press the button here, you then have trip 1, trip 2, and your instant consumption. The car has cornering lights, by the way. The lights are okay, not amazing, but it's okay. Cornering lights, when you go into a corner, extra light comes on. That's nice. As in the Renault, you can have a keyless entry and locking, and when you you get close to the car, it unlocks, and you go away from the car, it beeps and it does lock. These are your control for everything, and the infotainment system is a bit weird. there's no real home menu. And if you want it, you have to press 3 and this with 3 fingers, and it will go away in a second. So if you want to see stuff, you always have to use those buttons: music, climate, and it has 2 climate views, which is weird. Here I can adjust everything: flow, direction and temperature, AC and whatever. And if I am in something different, and then here is a temperature, I press that, I only get temperature and fan speed. There's no AC and not where it goes. So why? I don't get this. And then you have, of course, here down navigation, then you have your car, where the options are a bit connected to whatever you're using. Android Auto should work in the car, but this port doesn't work, so it doesn't work for me. And then the only thing you can do with charging is set when it's should be finished charging, but there's no charge limit in this car. You also cannot see the charging speed anywhere, only if you turn off the car while you're charging or in the app. In the infotainment system, there's also no going back. So when you're in music and you go to a car, you have to press the button down here to go back to music. There's no going back. And what's also weird is that the range only shows even numbers. So you never see an odd number. It's weird. Totally weird. And of course, this is your gear lever. You have a 12-volt outlet here. You have USB-C here and USB-A, and in the back you have 2 USB-As. And there's a huge department here that's really deep, and it even goes in this direction. Then that's nice. Here's your drive mode and your parking brake. Still need that, but it engages automatically. It disengages automatically when you go, but and it engages when you just turn the car off. Or that's also nice. Music, so sound in here is okay. Yeah, I had to turn the bass down a lot. It was a bit weird, but it's okay. The weird thing is when you connect it to Bluetooth, every time you turn off the car, go back into the car, you have to reconnect. You have to set the source to Bluetooth every time, so it doesn't just play Bluetooth automatically. Every time you see radio and you have to go to sources and to Bluetooth. That's weird and annoying. Let's sit in the car a bit. By the way, getting in is the same thing. If you want to lock or unlock, you have to do it long. It's not the short. You can do it here with your hand if you don't use the keyless entry, and you'd have to do it long, so for 1-2 seconds. Like I said, sitting in the car is okay. The elbow hurts a bit here. We do that in the driving. Sitting position is okay. I have a lot of headroom, really a lot. There's so much space up here, so very tall people can sit here, no problem. Steering wheel is small, but it's okay. The view to the instrument cluster is the problem. And now let's see, the seat is for me, I'm 180 centimeters. Let's see how I can sit here. Yeah. And by the way, I forgot there's a battery bump in the front, bit under the seat, but it's not so big. Space here for my knees is not a lot, but this is soft. Head space is very good. Do I have a middle console or something? No, I don't have that. I don't have an armrest in the middle. I only have this. Let's see. It's also hard, the same as in the front. It's the same thing. I have extra speakers here that I can see. And I have a little pocket, and here a pocket, and 2 USB-As. And that little light here, then I can even control with my hand. Yeah, the knee space is not amazing, I have to say that. But other than that, it's okay. But now let's drive a bit. The first thing that's unusual, there's a start-stop button, that's okay. But if you press it, nothing happens. You have to press it long. So for a second or two, that's already something different, I want to call it. A few things that are interesting. So when you go into D, you have to do it again to be in B, and that's every time. So when I go into reverse and then go back, I'm again in D, and I have to press it again to be in B if I want that. Also, every time you start the car, you're in normal mode. So if you want to drive in Eco, you have to set it every time you start the car. What's nice in eco mode though is that you can go above 130 kilometers an hour, and it's very unusual. Yeah, another thing. So if you have the seat heater for the passenger on and the passenger gets out, seat heater doesn't turn off. And also you can barely see if the seat heater is on when it's light outside. It's just, you can't see it. It's tiny little LEDs, red ones, and they're angled in a way that if the sun comes in, you can't see. But put it in a sport, drive a bit. Whee. Yeah, it drives okay. I have to say that. Important, now that I have full battery, there's no regen at 100%. It comes in gradually and gradually. Even when I touch the brake now, I have barely any regen. And I'm sorry, I hate that a lot. I hate when cars do not have regen at full battery. I get it that it's not full regen, but to not have any regen at 100%, I know that the Nissan Leaf 40 kilowatt hour had that. Cornering is okay. Suspension is a bit more sporty. So when you go over bumps, it's a bit harsh. So it's not the most comfortable ride, but then it's a bit more sporty. You can drive a bit more in the corner. Acceleration is okay. When you're in normal mode, and you floor it, you don't get full power, but there's, as in most EVs, there's a button in the accelerator pedal that if you push it fully and then even a bit more, you feel a button, and that engages full power, even in eco mode. The steering wheel is okay, even though it's tiny compared to my ID.3, for example. It's okay. I have nothing against the steering wheel, that it's small. The positioning, of course, is not great. So you have to position it very low so you can see the instrument cluster, even that I'm sitting on the bottom. No, I think I'm not fully on the bottom, but not very high. But to see the instrument cluster, steering wheel has to be as low as possible and also a bit farther away so I can see instrument cluster very well. What's totally weird, and I'm a bit surprised that this is allowed, regen, doesn't matter how strong the regen is, does not turn on the brake lights. So even when you have a low state of charge and you do get off the accelerator pedal and does full, so would say 50% of the regen, the other 50% come with the brake pedal. And of course, when you press the brake pedal, brake lights come on, but only regen, they don't come on. One pedal driving in this car is not possible. It's better regen than in my ID.3, of course, because it has rear wheel drive. But for a front wheel drive, this car does not have a lot of regen. I was expecting a bit more. The steering overall is good. It's extremely soft when you drive very slow, and it gets very stiff above 100 kilometers, but it's still okay. Yeah, also interesting with the seat heater is that it's not warm all the time. So I know that from other seat heaters that they heat up to a certain temperature and then they keep it there. Then from Mercedes, for example, they do full heat and then you can see it's on level 3, and then after a while it goes on level 2 and then on level 1. You can still press to change that, but it does that. But in this car, it heats up very nicely and then it gets cold and then it heats up again, and this the whole time. And I noticed that with the fan too, when I'm heating up the cabin, that it's not a constant noise level, it goes up and down. It's weird. Noise level in here is okay. I can't complain. I'm not so sensitive about that. I mean, I had a horrible fossil car before that was loud by itself, then also loud with tire noise and wind noise. So I know how it can be, so I'm very happy. The motor is a bit louder, but again, it's front wheel drive. The motor is right there. You hear it more than you hear rear wheel drive. Whee! Yeah, power is okay. The accelerator pedal at all has a very long way. That's also very unusual. What are you all doing here? Look at them. You're having fun on the road? Come on. What are you doing here? Come on. Another thing is this black dot in the rear view mirror. I mean, this is there to measure the light that comes from cars behind you, and then it should automatically darken the rear view mirror. It doesn't do that very well, so it's still very bright. For my taste, I would like it a bit darker. And I always have this black dot. It's big, and I see it all the time when I look in the rear view mirror. The rear view mirror has a good size, but the black dot, it's a bit distracting and annoying. Yeah. What's a big thing in this car, and I don't know why, when I touch this material here in the door, it's soft, but when I have my elbow on it, and the middle one, by the way, is soft too, and it's fine, but this one here, it hurts my elbow, even though I have a jacket on and a sweater, and it happens really fast, so after 10 minutes or so. This is too hard, and it hurts the elbow. The Renault Zoe was the same. Not good. Not good for long, but that's how I drive. I have both my elbows on armrests. That's my driving position for a long distance drive. It's 132. It's louder in here, and it's louder. The car is louder than other cars, but it's still okay. I wouldn't complain about that noise level at 130, not at all. And like I said, the steering wheel is now very stiff. It's a bit more sensitive than other steering wheels. So in other cars, but it's still okay. Well, let's floor it and see if 150 is our top speed. And that's our top speed. Again, it's louder in here, but it's okay. Yeah. And the instant consumption meter does not show regen or heat or cooling or anything. It just shows power to drive. So even now I'm a minus regen and the number is slowly going down. I don't know what's, and then it just stays at 0. It also reacts very slowly. But overall, it's a good EV, it drives good, it charges okay, not above 80%, I would never do that. I will do a charging test with this car too. Today is the full range test at 90 kilometers an hour, we'll test that. It drives okay, it steers okay, power is okay, just has a lot of weird things. And the thing that you cannot see a state of charge in the car at all times, that's just weird. Why? Why wouldn't you do that? You have to do that on a long distance trip to calculate a bit. Especially since WLTP range in this car is 330 kilometers. I did my 130 kilometer test and it was a bit low, but still okay. But that's it for me. Thank you much for watching. Have a great day and take care. Bye.